And hello, everybody. Welcome along. Late tea time, podcast time. And we are late. We are, early, stroke, late, early morning on a Thursday. First of all, though, before we get into the action, thank you very much indeed to switchwatersupplier.com. Switching made simple. If you've got a business and you want to save on your water costs, get in touch with switchwatersupplier.com. DT with me. Hello. How are you?
Hello, yes. I think we're both better for a night's sleep. Had heavy days yesterday.
I have got cricket early doors at the moment. So when it got to about 8:30 last night, I have to confess, I thought, I can't do this golf podcast. I need to get some sleep. So we've rearranged it for this morning. So good to see you all out there. And we are today looking ahead to the Genesis Invitational, DT. I'll stick the top end of the markets across the bottom. Scotty Scheffler favourite at 13-2. Rory's in there at 11s. Colin, my mate, 16-1. Justin Thomas, 16s. Victor, my mate, 16-1. Xander Schauffele, 16-1. Patrick Cantley's 18s. Max Homer, 20-1. And then Ludwig Aberg, who I think has become your mate, is now 22-1. Tell me why he's now your mate.
He supports Liverpool.
Yeah.
Go on, Ludwig. Yeah. Which you're going to... I know what you're going to say now, because he might be one of my tips this week.
Well, I was thinking that when I saw your tweet about him supporting Liverpool. I thought he's going to be DT's tip now every single week.
Yeah. It's not just because of that. He's quite good at golf, to be fair.
Just as hark back to last week, I mean, we texted each other about this. We talked about the raucous nature of the crowd at the Phoenix Open.
Yes.
It was horrific, wasn't it? I mean, I didn't actually quite. I watched it and I enjoyed the tournament, but I didn't enjoy that behaviour around the par 3. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and one of my previews I wrote, it was like the last days of Rome. It was just dear, oh dear. And this time, sometimes I don't know whether the players kind of just sort of tolerate it or pretend it's not there. But this time, they were clearly getting annoyed. There were clips going around of Zach Johnson just saying, "I'm sick of this" to the crowd. There was Billy Horschel telling them to shut up. And those were the ones caught on camera. So I don't know what else there might have been, but yeah, it's a bit of a...
I saw a fight. There's a few things, wasn't there? But anyway, I quite like having golf with a little bit of atmosphere, but there is a line, isn't there? And I think they crossed it at Phoenix last week. Anyway, onto the Genesis Invitational, DT. We've left it very, very late. You should have got your head around some late gossip, shouldn't you?
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? Yes. Obviously, it's LA, so there's quite a big time gap. So a lot of these interviews that were done kind of late last night, our time. So it wasn't the worst thing in the world not to do the podcast at about 8 p.m. last night, because we've got extra info. So that's all good.
It's almost like a cunning plan.
So obviously the big news this week is Tiger Woods is back. Tiger Woods is playing his first event in 2024. So what can we expect? He's talked about his injury now. His ankle is now fused, so he says he can walk on it better. I don't think he's... Because the last year it was quite painful watching him limp around, and it's just like, oh my word. But I think the limp has gone. But to kind of compensate for not limping, I think he has... It's just one thing after another. So he's got to the start line anyway, or he will, we presume, in one piece. And you never know. Tiger, he always somehow, on some level, seems to surprise us. You think, well, he's not played golf for months and months. He can't practice like he did. So I just wonder where the line will fall with him this week. I was looking at the betting, the kind of where will he finish? Top 30 is kind of just about even money. So if you think Tiger's going to finish in the top 30, and bear in mind, it's only a 70-man field this week. It's very reduced. So he's only just got to finish a bit above halfway. You can get about even money. And then obviously the price gets better for top 20 and so forth.
Which way would you go on that?
I'm kind of split, but I think if you split, you always then go with Tiger, a positive Tiger outcome. Because, down the years, I thought, well, how's he going to cope with this, playing the Masters, having not played for a year? And he'll just turn up and somehow shoot a good first round. You wouldn't want to be backing him kind of on day 3 or 4 when the fatigue might kick in. But round 1, you could possibly have a look at what score he might shoot. But I think overall in the piece, he might... I'd prefer to cheer him on and hope he can get a top 30, something like that.
He kind of with Tiger, because he was so good and he was just ridiculously good. You forget that he's a human being, didn't you? In that kind of glory period, he just was a machine, just churned out win after win. He has got blood running through his veins. He has got bones that break. He has got imperfections, hasn't he? But he's just an incredible human being, isn't he? At the same time, he's been so good for golf, hasn't he?
Oh, still amazing, yeah. And he's got this new clothing range at Sunday Red that he's launching. So that famous TW logo, he's kind of lost that, but maybe just gives that feeling of a new start for him on some level. But yeah, he kind of was saying, what's that?
Tiger Woods.
Is that his autograph?
Yeah, I've been going through my because I used to actually sort of buy and sell and collect personally signs memorabilia, and I've been going through a big box full of stuff, selling a few things on eBay for charity.
Is this you advertising now? Is this you?
No, I was gonna say because basically my grandma died of Alzheimer's, and so it's a charity that's dear to my heart. My grandma, I was very close to my grandma, so I'm selling a lot of my old stuff for Alzheimer's Society on eBay. But if anybody wants to make me an offer on the At Late Tea Time pod for that, money will go to the Alzheimer's Society. So if you want Tiger Woods' signature, give me an offer on them. Direct message me on the At Late Tea Time pod. Send me an offer on the At Late Tea Time pod. That could be yours if you want it. If money goes to charity. That's just an aside.
That's well done. That's a good charity. That my grandmother had Alzheimer's. So yeah, well done there.
Yeah. It's horrible, isn't it? It's just kind of you lose the person a long time before they die. Yeah, it's very sad. Yeah. Anyway, on that happy note.
Yeah, lift the energy again. Come
on. So Tiger Woods, maybe top 30 around about even money. But you've got two bets in terms of the other more maybe top end of the leaderboard market.
Yeah, so surprise, we've already dropped the hint. Ludwig Aberg will go Oberg. The Liverpool fan. I didn't know that today. He said Klopp going was one of the saddest days of his life. Too right, mate.
You need to get out more, Ludwig. Support Leeds, mate.
We do get a lot of
Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas the Leeds, you know.
So they reckon. Ask them to name 3 players. It's like asking a teenager who wears a Ramones t-shirt, name 3 of their songs.
Yeah.
Or someone who goes to Jim Morrison's grave. All right, name 4 Doors songs. Why don't you? Anyway,
all right.
We've drifted from the point.
You've got all antagonistic.
Yeah. You do get a lot of Scandies actually support Leeds. A lot of Scandies support Liverpool, Man United, and Leeds. I would say mostly. Yeah. But Ludwig is a Liverpool fan, which is good. But it's more than that. I'm not just tipping him because of that, obviously. So he was interviewed last night, I think it was, Wednesday night on the eve of the tournament. He said it's his first time here, which can be off-putting to people. But you've seen players just turn up recently and win events.
Yeah.
Not seen the course. So I do like course form, but it's not everything. So Ludwig Oberg says, I was just talking to some people and the golf course is so cool because it's very, very simple and it's very straightforward, but still very difficult. I love these old school properties where they don't take up a ton of space, but you get that historic feeling and it's really cool. So he's basically sort of saying, he was saying, if he just gets like his caddy to say, hit it there, I'll hit it there. And with a lot of players, you think, oh, that's easier said than done. But with him, you can almost just see him doing that. Hit it there, Ludwig. Okay. And then he just hit it there. And then
pin there, Ludwig.
Yeah. All right. I'll do that. So he's talking about some of his play this year. He says it's been great. We did some changes. Got Joe. That's Joe Scoveron on the bag, who used to caddy for Ricky Fowler. So he got rid of his old caddy basically because he wanted someone with a load of experience. Now, this Joe Scoveron knows this course really, really well. So I think that's what Ludwig wanted. He wanted someone on a proper PGA Tour caddy who knows all these courses that they're playing. And clearly this is working out because he's turning up at new venues and getting brilliant results already. So he's played Torrey and Pebble. He was 9th at Torrey Pines. He was runner-up at Pebble Beach. And had there been that final round that was called off because of the weather, who knows, he might have won that. He won the RSM Classic in Georgia 5 starts ago. So his play is tremendous. And then this week, the greens are Poano greens. But one thing I didn't particularly know, he said, the Poano I'm pretty used to. We've got that in Sweden. There you go. Okay. Less than grass types around Europe, but I didn't know that. Perhaps I should have done. But then just talking about his kind of newness at the course, he says, I trust stats guys. I trust my caddy, and they kind of hit it here and hit it there, and I'll try to do that. So he's a numbers guy, which I think is good because I've seen a few kind of numbers sort of websites. There's a really that PGA Tour, that 101 splits. Ron Kloss, he did some metrics on who should do well here, and they were kind of playing into what Ludwig Aberg does well. So I think this really bodes well for him this week, and he's got a bunch of confidence after his start to the year. Some of the guys at the top end, they're not quite pulling up any trees, are they? We've seen a lot of shocks this year, whereas Aberg is just one of the young guys coming in there and nothing to fear. And, there's no modern day Tiger Woods. Scotty Scheffler's kind of always up there, but he's not winning at the minute. So I think this is a chance. And he's about 22 to 1, I think you're going to tell me.
Yeah, he is indeed 22 to 1. You mentioned that Patrick Cantlay, whenever I write these, the ticker out for the prices, Patrick Cantlay is always up there. When was the last time he won? You're going to tell me last week now, aren't you? But
well, no, he's not at the top 10 this year, Patrick Cantlay. So, it's kind of these established players. I think they're there to be got at, to be honest. And I know we've seen some really sort of crazy price winners, but Ludwig Aberg is probably one who can get right in amongst it. And he just went back up because he started winning. He's got his first PGA Tour, and it's not some crazy thing that be going around in his head if he's like one clear coming up the last couple of holes. He knows how to win on this tour. So I think he's a good bet to win again.
Yeah, 20 to 1, 7 places, probably the best way of playing Ludwig Aberg then for the Genesis Invitational. So that's your first bet. We've got one more to come, haven't we? But as we are now sponsored by SwitchWaterSupply.com, here is their advert.
All golfers want to stay away from the water. That splash as your round sinks beneath the surface is never a good sound. But golf courses rely on water to keep those fairways and greens lush. For that post-round shower or the clean glass at the 19th hole. Golf courses, indeed most businesses, spend way too much money on their water bills. Switch Water Supply can cut your water costs and help your business save money. Register now at switchwatersupplier.com. They will do all the hard work and get your business the very best price for your water supply and claim money back if you've been overcharged. Switchwatersupplier.com. Switching made simple.
Thank you very much then to the guys at SwitchWaterSupply.com for their sponsorship of the Late Tea Time podcast. The Genesis Invitational, though, is what we are talking about this week. We've got maybe a couple of bets on our slip already. Tiger Woods potentially to make the top 30, around about even money. Ludwig Aberg, 20 to 1, 7 places with assorted bookies for Ludwig, the Liverpool fan, to do the business this week. Bet number 2, though, DT, please.
Yeah, bet number 2 is Wyndham Clark, the winner at Pebble Beach. Nice little kind of story about him this week because he won the US Open last June here in Los Angeles. Well, I say here in Los Angeles. I'm not in Los Angeles. I'm in West Yorkshire. But
he's slightly different, isn't it?
Just a little bit. There are some similarities, I think. He said, this is my first time back in LA, so it feels really good to be back. I did a nice little thing at LA Country Club where he won that US Open with the USGA. We did a little fireside chat, kind of reminiscing on all the shots that I hit. It was amazing to be back. So it was kind of emotional. It was great. It reminded me where I was then and where I am now and how much life has changed. So since winning that US Open, he's played in the Ryder Cup. He won at Pebble Beach a couple of weeks ago, and he's a top 10 player in the world. So I think nice little kind of thing going in to his head this week, back at the scene of his finest hour. And then it's not just like, well, he's in LA. it's not particularly part of the LA that I know, but he really does like this place. He says, this is definitely one of my favorite courses of the year, if not the favorite for me. It's just a fun week being here in LA. It's such an iconic golf course. It's one of my favorite weeks. I love it. When the weather's good, there's nothing better than playing 4 days at the Riv. Now, checking his course form, he's done pretty well, to be honest. He was 17th on debut, 8th after that, and 33rd. So he's played it well. And you've got to remember, he wasn't the golfer he is now back when he produced some of those performances. So he's played, he's finished 8th here when just nowhere near the level he is now. And he talked a little bit about why he plays it so well. He says the keys for him are precision shots into the greens and then the slope greens themselves and dealing with that. So he says, when we come over here on the West Coast, similar to Pebble Beach and Torrey, there's so much slope with Poa annua, and you're 10 feet out and you're playing a foot of break. That doesn't happen very often on tour. I think those are the main two challenges. And I think it feeds into my game, to be honest. I feel like I'm really good around the greens, so you're going to miss some. And I feel like I'm going to get them up and down. And I've always excelled on Poa annua greens, growing up in Colorado at Cherry Hills, where they have similar greens like they have here. So I'm used to playing away from the hole and bending it in. I really like this place. I think it favors someone that hits it far. Well, he does. And I've had some success here. So a guy who won a couple of weeks ago loves this course, loves it for a reason because it suits his game, and got that emotional thing about being back in LA. I thought put it all together, I thought he has probably just as good a chance as some of those, quite a lot shorter in the betting. So I thought Wyndham Clark was a good bet.
Well, you can get it 40 on 6 places or 35 to 1 for 7 places. So you takes your choice on that. Which one would you take there? Take the extra place?
I'm sort of tempted by the 40s just to sort of prove what a big price he is compared to some of those at 16s when I think could easily outplay them and get it done again here.
Well, let's do it then. Let's do it. Let's stick him on our slip. He's 40 to 1. Wyndham Clark to win the Genesis Invitational. So there we have it. We have 3 picks then this week, if we include the Tiger pick. Tiger, even money to be in the top 30. Come on, Tiger. Let's roll back the years for at least one round and let's see you play well. Ludwig Aberg, 20 to 1, 7 places for the Liverpool fan. And Wyndham Clark, he is 40 to 1, 6 places for Wyndham to win the thing this week. DT, as always, thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed to switchwatersupplier.com for their support of the Late Tea Time podcast. If you've got a business, want to save water, switchwatersupplier.com. Switching made simple. This has been...
Can I just throw in a couple of late...
I was on a roll there to finish off.
Well, you jumped in before I got a chance to say anything at the end. A couple of extra bits just from the course. A couple of guys on.
Being so needy, DT. Things you've been so needy. There you go. It's all yours.
Okay, a couple of extra bits from the course. There's a few guys on the ground there that say the greens are a little bit more receptive than in recent years. So just take that into account. And then just 2 players to mention. Justin Thomas had a hole in one. It's quite well spread on social media. Had a hole in one in practice. You can read that 2 ways. Like, oh, look at that. He's going to be his week. Or you can say, well, he's used up his best shot there and he won't get another one. Or somehow, that was his peak of the week. He's about 16 to 1. The other one, I saw a few comments about Ricky Fowler. He started the season pretty poorly, but there was a sort of shot of him and people say, oh, look at his position at the top of his backswing. It looks like maybe he's been working with Butch Harmon again. And maybe if he can bring that sort of swing to the course, then we could expect some things from Fowler again this year after his revival last year. He's massive. He's about 140 to 1.
Wow.
Fowler, which kind of is a bit odd because there was a time last year when he was playing that well when he might have been 25s or something, 33s for this, but he's a huge price. I checked his course form. He's had a couple of top 20s in the last 3 visits. So if you fancy a flyer on someone, a proven player, I mean, he's a California boy who could go in at a big price. Maybe Ricky Fowler might just do something, maybe getting the win is a bit much, but he could certainly run into a place, maybe just sneak 7th or 8th. And that's it, really.
You're done now?
Yeah, that's it. Nothing more to say here.
Very good, DT. Very comprehensive. As always, thank you very much for your time. And thank you out there, everybody. We will be back again at some stage next week. It will be always good to see you. So tune in then. Good luck with your bets. Gamble responsibly. And we'll see you next time. Cheers all.
Always gamble responsibly. Visit begambleaware.org for more information.